YouTube, welcome back to Cassandra's Kitchen, where I eat to live and not live to eat. Today I'm going to be making some birria tacos with a consomme. So if you're interested in seeing how I make this recipe, stay tuned and I'll show you. Alright guys, here we are. We're about ready to make something new today in Cassandra's Kitchen, and I wanted to do it with you guys. So for our birria tacos, we're going to be using jackfruit, and so we're going to be using the young jackfruit, green jackfruit in the brine. You guys have seen me use this before. I like this brand over the other brands that I've used before. It's the Aroy-D. I get mine at the Asian market here in my local area, which I'm sure you can find them in other places. They don't have as many seeds. I like the flavor better, and it's just, I guess it's just preference, right? But I'm using the Aroy-D, and what I've done so far, I've rinsed my jackfruit. I've tried to get as many of the seeds and the pods out as possible. Some people don't. They just use them with that in there. I myself do not like that texture. So as you can see, I popped a lot of these seeds out that I can see and the little pods that they're in. So I've rinsed my jackfruit. I've kind of drained some of the excess water out of my jackfruit, and that's what we're going to be using for our meat. It's because a lot of these recipes, they use goat, they use beef. I've seen some people even substitute for chicken, but we're going to be using jackfruit because we're going to make this all vegan, y'all. And so for our consomme, what we're going to be using, I have a whole onion that I've quartered. We're going to need some garlic. I got some fresh garlic. I got 6 cloves, garlic cloves. I have my chilies, and don't hold the pronunciation against me if I don't pronounce them right, but I got the Guajillo chilies, and I got 5 Guajillo chilies, and I got them in the Fiesta brand, so they're really soft. I've cut them and seeded them, de-seeded them. So I knocked the seeds out of those. And then I got the Ancho, the chili Ancho chilies, yes. And this is another mild chili, and I got the same brand, the Fiesta brand, and I have 3 of those. So we're gonna use those chilies for our consomme. And some of the seasonings that I'm using, I'm gonna be using the Better Than Bullion vegetarian, which is vegan, beef broth. I know a lot of people use the chicken bouillon, but because we're not using beef, we're going to use the beef bouillon, Better Than Bullion. We're going to use a little bit of cumin, so I have about a teaspoon of cumin here. I got a teaspoon of pepper, or half a teaspoon of black pepper. Got a little bit of cinnamon, 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon, 1/8 teaspoon of allspice, a teaspoon of oregano. We have 3 cloves. So these are cloves. You can get the ground cloves, but we got 3 whole cloves, and we're going to use some bay leaf for seasoning as well. So these are some of the spices that we're going to need. Also, what we're going to need is some tortilla shells, because we want to make these into tacos. So I have just the white corn tortilla shells, and we have a little bit of oil. So I'm going to be using extra virgin olive oil for this dish. So we're going to get started here. So what I want to do first, we got a couple things we're going to do. For me, I want to roast my garlic and my onions. So I'm going to just douse these a little bit in some olive oil. I'm going to have my parchment paper here lined out for my oven. And we're just going to brown these a little bit. We're going to get these on the parchment paper, and we're going to brown these just to, you know, give them a little char. I think that's going to infuse the flavors in our consomme better. And then we're just going to take them out. That's what we're going to use for our sauce along with our peppers. But my peppers, I'm not going to do those on the parchment paper. I'm actually going to start those in my broth to get those to get hydrated. They're going to get real tender, so they'll go hydrated. Let me grab my brush here. And so all I'm going to do is just kind of put a little bit of oil here on our onions and our garlic. And we're just going to give this a nice little brown. And I have my oven on broil. And I would suggest putting this in the middle of your oven. And we're just going to let these char a little bit. Okay? That's all we want to do. We're just going to take these and kind of let them brown. So while we're doing that, this is going to be in the oven. Then we're going to start working on our broth and cooking our jackfruit. So let me go ahead and get these doused real good. And we're going to get these in the oven. My daughter had said, Mom, can you make these tacos? And I'm like, sure, what are they? And I looked at them, because this is my first time, guys, literally. First time making these. So I always do stuff with you guys first. So we're going to see how they turn out. I looked at them. I'm like, I think I can do this. It looks pretty simple. And so that's what we're going to do. So we have that in there. The next thing we're going to do is start working on our broth. So what I'm going to do, because I want to infuse my jackfruit with this beef flavor, because it's fruit. And so I want to make sure it gets that meaty flavor, because we already know it has the meaty texture. We've proven that when we did the barbecue. We want to get that flavor in there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start off with a broth. So I am going to actually do this. So I want to keep this kind of close. My pot isn't hot yet. Bring my pot over here. So the only thing I'm going to do here, I'm going to add 4 cups of water. So that's 2. That's 4. And according to the directions on our Better Than Bullion, it's 1 teaspoon per cup. So we need 4 teaspoons of our broth, or of our Better Than Bullion. So 1. Let me get it all out of there. 2. 3. And 4. And I always say, you know, season to your likings, but I think to get a really nice, good broth going, we want to use this recommended on there. This is a little salty, so if you find that it has more sodium than what you like, just add a little bit more water to that. I think I'm going to just add a little bit just to get this off of my... I don't want to waste any of this, so... And my hands are clean, so... Okay. Here we go. And then what I'm going to actually put in here that I didn't have out, there's a couple other things I'm going to use for this, but what I want to put in here, I have some mushrooms. Actually, I'm not going to put those in there just yet. I want to actually do this so they don't get lost in here. So what I'm going to do is add my jackfruit in. And I'm just going to bring this to a boil. And my jackfruit is covered with the broth. I'm just going to bring this to a boil, and I'm going to let the jackfruit be in here probably about 30 minutes. That's it. Then we're going to take the jackfruit out. This is just to kind of get that infused with those flavors. Now, while that's cooking, we want to get our peppers down in there, okay, guys? So get your peppers down in here, because while that's boiling, these are going to just hydrate. Okay, and we can put a lid on this. So we're going to let that go for 30 minutes. Then we're going to bring out our jackfruit, because we don't want it to turn into, you know, just a soggy mess or anything like that. We're going to bring our jackfruit out. We're going to set that aside. We'll chop it up, get that set aside. We're going to do a little sear on that, but then we're going to start working on our sauce, because that's what we're going to need to get this thing going. So we're going to let that go about 30 minutes. While that's cooking, keep an eye on your roasted onion and your roasted garlic, because it's going to be like the same time frame. So by the time those two get done, we'll go move on to the next step. So see you in a second. All right, fam. So here is my onion and garlic. They're roasted. You know, they're not burned. They just got a nice little brown char to them. So I went ahead and took those out. It was actually, my oven is really hot on my broil. So it didn't take 30 minutes for mine to go. So it was probably a good 15 minutes. But here is my actual broth. So, you know, you want your chilies to be now, you know, back really hydrated. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these chilies out of here. And I'm going to take the jackfruit out because it's been soaking in that for a while too. So I'm going to take both of those out. But you'll see how I'm going to make the consomme using these chilies. But I just wanted you to see that's what it looked like down in my pan. So we're going to get these out of here and then we'll step over and start making our consomme. All right, so I've put in my food processor my peppers and my onions. So we're going to mix this up with our spices. But I also wanted to show you, so I just took my jackfruit out. See, it's still hot. You can tell it's got that broth stained in there. So we're going to continue to cook this, but I didn't want to overcook it by boiling it. We want to kind of get it marinated in our consomme and our sauce as well. So I just got that setting aside. But my broth is still on, guys. So what I'm going to do, because I love mushrooms, and you guys know that, I cut up some portabella mushrooms. I just diced up some portabella mushrooms. I want this down in my sauce. So I'm going to go ahead and get those down in that broth that's going. And just let those go ahead and cook down. When you're drinking on the consomme with your tacos, that mushroom in there is going to be really good. I know it will be. So what we're going to do now is go ahead and make our sauce. So this is where we're going to add in all of our spices. So we have our cumin. We have our black pepper. We have our allspice and our cinnamon. Our oregano. And not our bay leaves. Oh, our bay leaves are going to go in here now. Just go ahead and give that flavor down in our broth. And we'll take those out. So we don't eat those. We just let that cook with those mushrooms. And then we have our 3 whole cloves. Okay? So get those down in there. So what we're going to do, we're going to put just a little bit of that broth down in here. So we can give it a good mix. Just a little bit. So I'm going to take my ladle. Just so we can get this going. Because it's all going back in the pot. Okay? This is probably about a half a cup. If we need more, we'll grab more. So what we're going to do is go ahead and get this blended down. Just be careful because it is hot. And okay. Move these out of the way. Make sure my towel's not on my stove. Okay. So we're just we want to mix this down really good to where it's just a liquefied. We don't want no chunks in it or anything like that. So if yours doesn't puree very well, you can always strain it at the end. Use your strainer to get any chunks out. But hopefully my Ninja will do that for me. So here we go. I'm going to add a little bit more broth, but one thing I did forget to add in here was my oil. You want to get a couple of teaspoons of oil in here. I almost forgot that. My teaspoon. Here we go. 2 teaspoons. And I'm just using olive oil. So here we go. And I'm just going to put just a little bit more broth in mine because that's why we make plenty of broth, so we can use it for making our sauce as well as having it to incorporate in our meat. So, okay. Working it. Okay. Just gonna give it a little help. coming together real nice. It looks like a chili sauce. That's what you want it to be. It's chili, so. You can taste the cinnamon and the allspice. Excuse me, my phone's ringing. I'm gonna put y'all on pause for a second. All right, guys, so this is what my pot looks like with my broth. Got those little bay leaves down in there. We're gonna keep those in there for now, and those mushrooms. Now, I did go ahead and finish blending. My granddaughter gave me a call. And so, but what I'm gonna do, because I'm a little worried it may be a little thicker than what I wanted it to be. Maybe one of my peppers wasn't as tender as I would have liked it to be, because I did taste it and I felt a little skin on my tongue. And that's not what we want down in our sauce. So I'm going to go ahead and strain mine. This is what I was saying you can do, is make sure you get it in the strainer. So that way you can make sure that you're not getting anything in there that you don't want in your tacos. So let me push that aside. But other than that, the sauce tastes really, really good. And I'm just going to go ahead and get mine strained. Get that down in here. Actually, it's not bad. It's more uh-oh. Okay. But just in case we want to get this in here. We'll get all this out. I maybe should have cooked my chilies just maybe another 5 minutes or so. I think we wouldn't be doing this if so. But I'd rather tell you, like I said, we just doing it for the first time. I want to get all my sauce, so, okay. And so what I'm going to do is just go ahead and get all this down in my pot. So I'm just going to continue to strain this down in here. And then once I get this all strained, it's going to take a few minutes. Then I will click back on and let y'all see my pot. All right, guys. So what I did, and I should have did it first, I actually just used my small cup blender. And if you can see, it smoothed that out really good. So no straining needed. I don't know why I use my big blender, my processor. Just use your cup blender. Look how smooth that came out. So that's what we wanted. So therefore, that actually took care of business for us right there. We want all this goodness down in here. We don't want to waste any of that flavor. Okay. So, getting all my sauce in here. I want all this. Hold on. Let me just get a little water, because I want every little bit of this. Because some of this got extra flavor. So let's get all my goodness out of here. Voila. Y'all know how we do in Cassandra's kitchen. We work it out. Look at that. That's a nice, smooth consomme. We got those mushrooms down in here. We're just going to let this boil while we work on our meat. And don't forget, you have your bay leaves down in there. We'll take those out shortly. But we're just going to go ahead and keep this on a nice simmer. But it tastes good. It tastes amazing right now. So we're going to start working on our meat. So let's transition over to this side. All right, so final stages, we're gonna work on our jackfruit. It's cooled off. We just wanna make sure that we get this shredded down. You can do it hand, you know, whatever's easier for you. You can just take your hands. Well, it is kind of slippery, guys. You can take your hands and do it that way and just shred it down, or I use my knife. Just kind of chop it down. And as you're going through it, like I said, I got most of my seeds out. You can then go ahead and if you see seeds down in here, like, you know, there's a couple, just pop them out. You know, I personally prefer taking the seeds out, like I said, but we want to get our jackfruit just chopped down. Like I said, you can do it with your hands or you can do it with the knife. I think it's a little bit easier with the knife to get that chopped down, and we're going to finish the cooking process on our meat. But we just wanted to do this to kind of infuse some of that beef, better than bouillon beef down in here, to give it that flavor. But we're just going to chop this up a little bit, and then once we get this all chopped up, we're going to go over to the stove and give it a little bit of sear, put some of our consomme sauce on it. And we're all going to be about ready to serve these tacos up. So we're almost done, but I wanted to show you guys this portion of preparing the jackfruit. So go ahead and get your jackfruit chopped up, and I'll meet you right back over at the stove. All right, so we have our jackfruit shredded. What I'm going to do now, I'm actually putting it in a hot skillet with some grapeseed oil. I'm just going to give this a little sear. Brown it up a little bit here, just to infuse a little bit more flavor down in here. And you can taste the bouillon in there. It's not heavy, but it has a, you know, a little bit of that beefy flavor down in here. But like I said, it's not heavy, so. And meat, I just want to sprinkle just a little bit of salt on this and maybe some pepper, just a little bit. I have a mixture somewhere. Oh, here it is. Got this little salt and pepper mixture I use. Just kind of give it just a little bit more seasoning here. And this is just salt and pepper mix. Okay. And like I said, you can chop it up a little more if you want, but it's got a nice texture. I just wanted to brown it a little bit. Get this going. And then what we're going to do is add a little bit of our consomme sauce to it. And just bring it to a little bit of a simmer over here. And then we'll be pretty much ready to start building our tacos. So, then you want to taste your sauce, because, you know, I always say season to your own liking. So you may want to add your, taste your sauce here. So what I'm going to do, and don't forget, you got your bay leaves in there, which I'm going to take those out here in just a second. I'll fish for those. And remember, we have a little bit of mushrooms down in ours. So I'm going to go ahead and fish those bay leaves out of there. Because this has already come to a good boil, and I've actually turned it down. Finding everything. Oh, here we go. We got one more down in here. Let's see. Where are you, Bailey? Here we go. There's a little one. Okay. So, let's just continue to check our meat here. And don't this look good, y'all? This looks amazing. Like, I don't see how this is jackfruit. Like, it definitely looks like shredded chicken. Shredded chicken or pork. So, I'm going to taste it. It tastes good just like that. And so, like I said, I try to get as many of the seeds out. Even though they're small, I try to get as many of those out as I can. Okay, so what we're going to do, now we're going to go ahead and get our sauce on here. So we'll get a bunch of that sauce down in here. Sauce. Hold on. I don't want to make a mess, and I can't lift that pot now. It's heavy. Okay. All right. All right. I just be making a mess. Well, stuff splatters, and I can't help it, so y'all forgive my mess that I be splattering and making, so. Okay. So just get this all cooked down. So we're just going to let this simmer for about another 30 minutes or so. And we're going to be pretty much it. Low. Just kind of let that flavor simmer in here. And I'm going to go ahead and get my griddle out, because we're going to start building our tacos on our griddle. And so I'm going to get my little griddle station set up, and we're going to go from there. So see you in a sec. All right, y'all. So I am working on a hot griddle here. I'm going to put a little bit of grapeseed oil down my griddle here. And what I'm using, so we have the tortilla shells. I am using smoked Gouda. I'm using smoked Gouda cheese by Follow Your Heart. I'm also using some Follow Your Heart Feta. And so to build our tacos, we're going to be using I have some cilantro cut up and some onion cut up. And so here you guys can see my meat, and that's with the Birria sauce. And so we're going to start to build our tacos. So what I'm going to do, actually spread my oil out on here. Okay, I'm going to dip my shell in a little bit of our sauce. On both sides, get those on here. Okay. And then I'm going to put cheese on both sides. So we're just using sliced cheese today. Okay. And then we're going to get our meat in the middle here. I'm going to try not to overstuff these, because I probably will. Okay. Look at that meat sauce. It looks so good. It tastes good, guys. And in my consomme on the stove, I actually added another teaspoon of the bouillon to the broth, because I just wanted that taste. It did it for me. So we're going to put a little bit of onion in here. We're going to put a little bit of fresh cilantro. And I'm going to sprinkle just a little bit of feta cheese. Okay? And we're going to get these flipped. And your first grill might be a little warm, but just turn it down, because it was a hot griddle. So just turn it down. You want to get these to fry up really nice to get a nice brown. Okay. Yeah, like I said, you get the hang of it. Just my griddle is a little hot because it is the first one, but once it cools, I'm going to flip this over a little bit. Okay. And if you need more oil as you go, I got my spray bottle here that I'll just spray. And then if you need more sauce on it, of course, I have my brush here. I can just brush more of the sauce. Yeah, my griddle just got a little hot, but that's okay. We want to get these to brown really nicely and get hard. They look good. That cheese is melting real nice too. That Follow Your Heart. I love the smoked Gouda. That's like one of my husband's favorite cheeses. And so I figured they didn't have the mozzarella. So I figured we'll do the smoked Gouda. I did turn mine down just a little bit because I want to get them to crisp up and not burn. Stuff comes out, just scoop it back in there. It's okay, it's a taco. It's okay to be a little messy here. But that's it, guys. That's all you do. And just make sure you cook these and get these real good and crispy. And then once we get these done, we're going to dip them in our sauce. I made some charro beans and some guacamole, which you guys, if you've seen my fajitas and charro beans video, I have the recipe for that guacamole and the charro beans there. And I will have that also in the description so you can see it if you want to have the beans on the side. But we are going to let these cook just for a few more minutes. And we're going to take them off. I just want them to be a little more crunchy. So, this is it, guys. Okay, so we are on batch 2. And this time, I'm actually going to brown my tortillas just a little bit and then fill them. I think they'll make them a little bit more crispier. So we're going to see how this one turns out. These were good. They cooked. They're not as hard as I wanted them to be, but they're crispy. You know, they've got a nice little firm texture to them. They look delicious, by the way. And I may not fill them as much because of the filling kept coming out. But so I just thought I would brown them a little bit first. So just a suggestion. And now we're going to start to build them. So let's see. I don't know if I need as much cheese. So I'm going to put a half a piece of cheese instead of a whole piece of cheese on each one. Because I think a half a piece is going to be perfect. And my granddaughter, who doesn't like vegan cheese, I'm going to put a little bit of regular cheese on hers. Just because. And okay, get on there. Okay. Now we're going to do our meat. Like I said, maybe not have to fill it as much. And I say that, and then I feel it as much. Okay. And then we will do our little bit of onions, maybe not as much. Our cilantro, maybe not as much as I did the first time. And of course, we want to use a little bit of feta cheese in ours. Okay. And let's see if we can get these flipped now. Oh yeah. So it's not as full. So it is a little bit easier to work with here. Okay. Yeah. It's okay. If some comes out, that's fine. So, and then we're just gonna do just a little bit of the sauce on here. Don't have to do as much. I think it was overkill on the first one. Maybe is why it didn't turn out as it should. So, then I'm gonna flip this a little bit. And we're gonna put just a little bit more of that sauce on here. Because we're gonna dip this in our sauce anyway, so we don't have to go overboard with the sauce because we're gonna be dipping it in our sauce. So, slide these down. My griddle tends to get a little more hot at that end. Okay. But that's just a suggestion, and I think it's crisping up a little bit better, and they're not just running out super full. So I think I just overfilled them the first time. So definitely don't have to overstuff them because you can make as many as you want. Look at all that. That made so much meat. We have so many shells, so, you know, we don't have to overstuff them. But this is compared to the first ones I did again. Like I said, they look great. Look at that cheese all smashed in there. They look amazing. I know they're going to taste good. But they were just running over. These right here, I'm hoping to be a little bit more crispy. Just going to keep turning them because I don't want them to burn. And so we have that on there. So that's what the second batch looks like. I think you can go either way. There's no right or wrong. It's just whatever you like, your texture of your shells. That's up to you. But once we get these all cooked up, we'll come back for our taste test. All right, guys, so here we are for our taste test. We are doing it a little bit different today because we're all going to taste this because this is our first time making them. So again, we have the Birria tacos and we have the consomme. What I've done is I put a little bit of, garnished it with a little bit of onion, a little bit of cilantro, and we have my famous charro beans here, which again, I'll have the recipe in the description for those, and my homemade guacamole. So let's get started on these tacos, y'all, because this is what's been the talk. Now, I told y'all my granddaughter doesn't like vegan cheese, so I put regular cheese in hers. And here you go. And so what we've done, I have a little bit of feta cheese in here, some of the jackfruit, the onions, along with the Follow Your Heart smoked Gouda, and the cilantro. So let's go ahead and just grace it really quick, and then we're gonna eat it. You wanna grace it?
Sure. Heavenly Father, as we come before you in the precious name of Jesus, we pray that you would bless this food, sanctify it, take out all the impurities for the nourishment of our bodies, and bless the hands that prepared it. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. All right, so let's get in here, guys. Let's give this a taste. See what this is all about. Dip it down in your sauce.
It's good.
That jackfruit, it actually tastes really good.
Yeah, not bad. Not bad. Not bad at all.
And the sauce, I was a little worried about the sauce, so I was looking at some of the recipes. And the sauce actually tastes really good. It's not spicy at all. it could actually use a little more spice. Put a little more of the spicy chilies in there. This is really good. I got those mushrooms. When I chopped up those mushrooms down in there.
It's really good.
The sauce is delicious. It's got a hint of spice, like with a hint of the. You can taste the cinnamon and the allspice down in there, and then the oregano. I'm gonna taste this guacamole. Y'all wanna try the guac?
It's good, y'all.
Y'all, this guacamole.
Charro beans.
I got jalapenos down in here.
A little spicy though, but they good.
The guacamole is good. Wanna try the guacamole, honey? And I do got my limes. I like to squirt a little bit of lime in my beans. And maybe my sauce too. You want a lime? My nose is starting to run a little bit. I got a little spice going on in that guacamole. Now these are the ones that I cooked second, y'all. The ones that I cooked first was a little more less crispy, but that's okay. Because they're still good.
It's good with the lime.
It's good with the lime, right?
These are just a little bit softer than the first one.
And
than the second one, yeah.
And I overstuffed them too. But overstuffed ain't bad.
No.
Let me try these beans. Y'all gotta try that jackfruit. I'm telling you. That's really good.
These right here, to me, I don't know if it's because you cooked them on the grill longer or whatever. It's like it's got a little bit more flavor. I guess the shells do.
Yeah, because I try to cook them longer. Plus, I soaked those in the sauce.
Right. Dipped them in the sauce.
So it's got all that flavor from that sauce when I dipped it in the sauce, but that made them a little more softer.
Yeah.
These beans are a little spicy.
I thought you didn't have that on the thing. That thing. When we bring them Papa.
We're going to be pranking Papa. Oh, we're going to prank Papa.
Really good, y'all. You won't be disappointed.
Yeah, they're really good. So you guys
Really
got to
good.
try it.
With the jackfruit. And all of that. It's good. It's really good.
Yeah, so try it out. Like I said.
I'm really surprised it turned out this good. I really am, because I'm thinking to myself, man, them tacos going to be like super soggy, dipping them or what have you. But they actually turned out really good. Even though the first batch we did, kind of overkill just a little bit, but yet and still, they still turned out delicious too also. So, great job, man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What about the sauce? You like it when you sip on the sauce? Did you sip on it?
Well, I didn't sip on it because I got enough when I was, dipping it was enough for me. I mean, the sauce is great.
So good.
With the cinnamon taste and the pepper and the chili-like taste to it.
It's just.
It's really good. It's different. It's really good, and
This sauce is just doing it for me right now.
yeah.
I did put a little bit of jackfruit down in there too, just to have it in case you want to eat it like a stew or a soup. You can have that either way. Right, just do it this way, put that in and just eat it without the shell. But I'm telling y'all, it's doing it for me right now. So let me get one more bite.
Right. But we're going to cook some more. Because they really are good. They really are delicious with that jackfruit. You got your little meat texture and everything going on inside. So you won't be disappointed. So make sure that you subscribe.
I'm doing his numbers today. He's trying to end the video, and I'm trying to eat. So hold on, y'all. I'm going to end this video. But this is so good. I just got to get this last
stop
bite.
eating. It's really good. It's really good.
For those who don't like this part, I'm sorry. But I just been wanting to do this. To be able to eat on my channel.
It's really good. Yeah. All those chips.
And these are messy, so don't try to be cute. Don't try to be cute when you're eating these, because you're not going to be cute. They are messy, but they are delicious. One more bite of my beans. Okay. So, as my husband was saying, you would not be disappointed, right? You like them, Ariana? Good? So she's still eating, so they're good. So you would not be disappointed. If you tried and you like it, you know what to do.
Give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up.
And of course, share this video.
Share, please do.
And if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, what are you waiting on?
Yes.
Subscribe. I would love to have you follow me here on YouTube. And so from Cassandra's Kitchen into yours until next time, we love you. Be blessed. Bye-bye now.
All right, y'all.